Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to be going over a southern snowstorm for portions of the south central United States. Some areas of New Mexico, Colorado, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, and Missouri will be impacted with some snow. Some areas could pick up as much as 6 or more inches of snowfall, and we will also be talking about a severe weather threat for portions of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee. We're going to be going over what a couple of the models are showing as well as my forecast for this event. And if you want a personal forecast, if you do live within this area, then definitely leave a comment down below, and I'll try and answer your comment within an hour or two of you posting it. Now, also, I've been getting a lot of comments about this particular storm, and I think all of you guys, or most of you guys, are aware of this storm. You've probably heard about it on your local news if you live in this area, or just on the internet. You've probably seen this storm pop up here and there. I will probably be talking about this tomorrow if this is still in the models. It's been modeled for about 2 or 3 days now on pretty much all the models are showing this by this point, and this is only for Wednesday or Thursday, so we're only about 5 or 6 days out, so it's not like we're too far out that there would be so much discrepancy within the models. So I'll probably make a video about that tomorrow. If you don't want to wait, if you want to get a forecast right now or relatively soon, I'll be commenting back. If you do ask about this particular storm, I'll comment back what I'm thinking will most likely happen with this event in the comment section down below, and again, I'll try and answer back to you within an hour or two. So here is the current National Weather Service page, and you can see it's actually quite active today. We have winter weather advisories scattered through portions of the western United States, as well as portions of the Rockies and parts of Colorado and New Mexico, with a large area of winter weather advisories scattered through Wisconsin, northern Illinois, Iowa, northernmost Missouri, and into Nebraska there. And then we're looking at also a little bit more winter weather advisories for portions of central Michigan, as well as for the north slope of Alaska and parts of northern Alaska there. We're also looking at some winter storm warnings for western Michigan, and so for northern Michigan we're looking at some winter storm watches. We also see some more winter storm watches for parts of Utah and for the northernmost county of Maine there. So we also see some wind advisories, and in fact for portions of New Mexico and Texas, as well as portions of California there. And then we're looking at some dense fog advisories for portions of North Dakota and Montana, with some air quality alerts in central Indiana. So let's start talking about what could potentially happen with this storm. Here's what the GFS model is showing, and we'll give you my snowfall forecast at the end of this video. Now, notice, focus your attention to the left-hand side of your screen here. You see those little areas of snow showers out in Colorado and Utah. That's going to be our big storm or snowstorm for portions of the southern United States. Now, we have a high pressure up to the north in portions of Kansas, Nebraska, and that's going to be pressing in some more of that colder air that's going to be behind the system that's over the Midwest right now. So behind there, you're going to have some actually quite frigid air, and we're actually going to see some of that cold air combined with some of that moisture, and you will probably get a bit of snowfall out of this. So let's time this out on the GFS model. Here will be by Saturday night, so this will be by tomorrow night, getting into Sunday right around 12 in the morning, and we'll use Central Time for this because that's really the geographic area that's getting affected here. We're looking at some moderate to heavy snow moving through portions of Colorado, New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. We have a surface low down in portions of New Mexico by this point, and we might see some moisture pull up through the Gulf of Mexico as the system heads to the east. It might be able to spin up some moisture coming out of the Gulf of Mexico, so you might actually see a little bit of that move into this system. So that's also something that might strengthen the storm a little bit. And really, as it moves over central Oklahoma, as that band of snow moves over central Oklahoma, northern Texas, that's where I think you'll get the most snow per hour. So probably snowfall rates of close to 3/4 of an inch to an inch per hour of snowfall. Luckily, we're not looking at too much freezing rain with this, like we do with many of these Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas storms. Usually, a lot of these include some ice. Luckily, we're not dealing with that in this storm. So this is going to be mainly a rain or snow event. It's not going to be any sort of freezing rain or sleet with this. Now, Here would be by Sunday right around 12 p.m. In the afternoon, and we're looking at that low pressure down in portions of northern Mexico there. But we do have a upper level low pressure system that's kind of stretching into portions of Texas, so that's allowing some of that Gulf moisture to kind of move up through Louisiana and then push up into where the system is. We're looking at another, I believe that would actually be a high pressure developing on that back end, which is going to kind of sweep the storm out to the east. So we're dealing with a very cold atmosphere in place already that's allowing some of that snowfall to develop. So we definitely do have a conducive pattern for some of that snowfall to develop. And then this heads out to the east, and we are looking at potentially some blow-ups of severe weather for portions of the southeast, and especially for Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee. And then as we head into the southeast view of this, you start to see that system really pulls away, maybe in the Smoky Mountains of West Virginia, and then getting through western Virginia. We might be dealing with some snowfall mixing in there, but overall that'll be confined to those higher elevations. And then that system really moves offshore. This is not going to be the system that's going to bring that snow for the northeast. That's going to be a different system. So this one should stay mainly rain, although you might see a little bit of mixing on that northern end. Now here's what the European model is showing. We see that big Midwest storm, which is going to leave behind some very cold air on that western end of that, and that's going to set the stage for some of that snowfall to form over portions of Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas. So here's your system off the west coast, and that is going to dip down into the southern states, and we'll see how the European handles this. Now this would be by Saturday right around 12 p.m. Here's by 6 p.m. And actually in mountain time this would be right around 5 p.m. So here would be by right around 11 p.m. Mountain Time on Saturday, and then getting through the day. Let's switch over to Central Time here, and this would be by right around 6 in the morning Central Time on Sunday, and we're looking at some of that snow moving into Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Colorado, New Mexico. And then here are your temperatures by this point, because this is definitely going to be important. So I'll go back here for a second. Here's your rain snow line, and I'll draw it on the screen here. This is your rain snow line right here, and then look at where your 32-degree temperatures are. Your 32-degree temperatures, which I'll draw here in the pink, is a little bit further to the north. Your 32-degree temperatures are actually going to miss some of that rain and snow. So some of that snow that will be falling at probably 34 or 35 degrees. So that's something that we have to pay attention to. Not all of this is going to stick to the ground. Now here would be by Sunday right around 12 p.m. Here's your temperatures by that point, and you see where the heaviest snow is over portions of central Oklahoma, eastern Kansas, northeastern Texas. By this point, 30, 34, 35 degrees. So it will be cold enough to support snow, although you might have some difficulties at the start getting this to accumulate. Although once you get that first dusting of snowfall, it makes it incredibly easy for more snowfall to pile on. So it's just getting that first coating of snowfall, and once you do get that, that'll make it much easier for the rest of that snowfall to pile up on top of there. And then here would be by Sunday right around 6 p.m. and we're looking at some mixing issues, and this is really going to be where you might see some more of that ice pop up for Missouri, Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma. Hopefully it doesn't accumulate too much. Also, there's some of your severe weather in parts of Louisiana and Mississippi, and looking at your temperatures by this point, you can tell why you have some of those mixing issues. You're looking at 34, 35 degrees at the surface, but higher up in the atmosphere, you are looking at colder temperatures, so you might deal with a little bit of snowfall in higher parts of the atmosphere, and then coming down to the surface within the bottom 2,000 or 3,000 feet of the atmosphere, you might be dealing with some above freezing temperatures that might lead to a bit of a wintry mix. Now here would be by Monday right around 12 in the morning. Here's by 6 in the morning on Monday, and you might see a brief snow to rain event over portions of the northeast. Nothing too impressive. We will be dealing with, although some very impressive rains over portions of the southeast that might accumulate to maybe an inch or two of rainfall for those areas. And then here to be by Monday afternoon, and it's really heading out of here. Now Here's what the European model is showing in terms of its snowfall, and then we'll get into my snowfall forecast for this event. We're looking at anywhere in those grays, under an inch to 2 inches of snowfall, 2 to 6 inches in the blues, 6 to 10 inches in the purples. So you see those higher amounts over the Rockies, but focus your attention to parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, where it looks like you probably get anywhere from 3 to 6 inches of snowfall, fairly widespread in those areas, and I think those amounts will be cut down by an inch or two just because your temperatures will be right around 34 degrees for many of those areas further to the east. That'll definitely hinder some of your accumulation totals. Now, here would be for the GFS model, and here's what the GFS model is showing. And it's a little bit further to the west, but still a lot of these areas are seeing some snowfall. And what we've learned from the GFS is that it really does underestimate most of these storms. So definitely the GFS, you want to add a couple inches of snowfall onto what this model is showing. And then also, again, for some of those for some of the Appalachians and portions of North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, you might be dealing with a dusting to 2 inches of snowfall in those higher elevations. Now, here's my snowfall forecast, mountain snow, and by the way, this is going to be going from tomorrow all the way until I believe that would be Sunday there. So this is mountain snow for portions of the Colorado Rockies, so from New Mexico up through central Colorado and then back through Utah in some of those higher elevations. That's where you're looking at mountain snow. And if you do live anywhere in that region, check your local National Weather Service office. They have very, very detailed mile by mile forecast for your snowfall, so they're definitely a very, very accurate source for that elevation difference. It would take me probably hours in order to plot all those snow totals onto this map just because of the elevation differences. So definitely check your local National Weather Service office. They do a great job over there with these snowfall totals. Now, under an inch of snowfall for northern New Mexico, northern Texas, much of Oklahoma, back through Arkansas, Missouri, and into Kansas, Nebraska, and Colorado. Under an inch of snowfall, either this would be flakes or a dusting or so of snowfall, but nothing too major if you just live within this area. Now, here's your 1 to 3 inch area, and this is for portions of New Mexico, northern Texas, northern, actually this would be for actually much of the northern half of Oklahoma, southern and southwestern Kansas, and then back through southeastern Colorado, probably 1 to 3 inches of snowfall out of this event. And then here's your final layer, 3 to 6 inches of snowfall as you get further west into portions of Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, Kansas, and this is where I probably think you'll get 3 to 4, maybe 5 inches or even 6 inches of snowfall within those areas. And I'm just taking into account of how much snowfall will actually accumulate. Some of these models don't take into account how much is actually going to be able to stick on the ground. Some of your ground temperatures will probably be a little bit too warm at the start to get some snowfall, but if you have maybe 2 or 3 hours of repetitive, steady snowfall, which it looks like you might, then you'll eventually get that dusting on the ground. And then again, as soon as you get that dusting, you'll start to see those snow totals really increase over your area, and you'll really start to see that snowfall start to accumulate. Again, tomorrow we're probably going to be talking about that northeast coastal storm, whatever may actually come out of that. And if you have any questions for either of those two storms, this southern snowstorm and also that northeast one, leave a comment down below and I'll try and answer your comment within about an hour or two of you posting it. So that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Thank you guys so much for 4,000 subscribers. It's definitely crazy how quickly we got to that milestone, and hopefully we can get to 5,000 subscribers within the next coming months. Now, again, that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, turning on notifications, and share it to a friend, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.